2024, and we're looking at 5 games from WizKids. First of all, Trail Story America. This is a really thematic game where you're exploring the wilderness around the turn of the century. You get a chance to explore. You have to overcome certain encounters and challenges. There's a really cool mechanic where you have these decks that you draw from that you might run into friends, foes, challenges of different kinds, and it's all handled by the deck, so it tells a nice narrative. And I really like the mechanic where at the end of the day when you set up camp, you can invite other players into your camp, share stories, and earn experience. So really neat design and very pretty. Next we have Star Trek Captain's Chair. This is a 1v1 battler. It's from the designers of Voidfall and Imperium Classics. So if you are familiar with those games, it's apparently not a reskin of, just with a different IP. It's actually its own game. But for fans of those designers, I think you'll want to take a look at this. Basically, you take control of one captain and their ship. You manage the ship. You deal with crew and managing that and managing damage. And it's just a last man standing kind of battler, but anyway, it looks really, really neat. Next up, we have Tales of the Arthurian Knights. You might be familiar with Tales of the Arabian Nights. This is, they don't own that game, but so it's the same designer, but a completely different thing. But it'll be familiar to you if you've played Tales of the Arabian Nights, because it does tell a story. Essentially, it's like a narrative game, choose your own adventure type game, where you run into different creatures. There's a little bit of light fantasy and magic in this one, and you're going to be exploring the Arthurian world and dealing with things like dragons and serpents and meeting Merlin and so forth. So there's a little bit of magic, a little bit of fantasy, but overall it's a little more grounded than some of these games usually are, and it looks really compelling, especially if you like that narrative type game. Next up, we have Star Trek Into the Unknown. This is a battler. If you've tried Armada, you might see this as a little bit familiar. But what's neat about this one, you don't just win militarily, you can also win with science and so forth, as the Federation might do. Again, you're taking control of a ship. You've got these cool minis. They're so big you may not even call them mini. And you're again managing your crew. You may not, you may be in a battle and suddenly Worf gets injured and you have to deal with that, managing that sort of thing. But it kind of gives you that same feel as Armada. And there's the Enterprise there. It looks really, really cool. It's a nice big mini. So this is Star Trek Into the Unknown. All right. And finally, we have Onslaught Dungeons and Dragons, and these are using the same kind of system and mechanics as 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. So if you are familiar with those or with that system, then you will find yourself very much at home here. They have the pre-painted minis, which WizKids is known for, and that's a really, really nice feature if you like playing with miniatures, but you don't want them to be that dull gray, and you would like to have that vibrant look on the table. It is essentially a battler. You can put party versus party and see who comes out on top, and you might even be able to fit it into your D&D campaign if you like to have that tactile feel as you're conducting your battles. So that's Onslaught Dungeons and Dragons.